lot more small guys and a lot more agents. If a former president can be bombarded at every turn by the FBI and IRS, what hope is there for the rest of us? Here with me now to discuss, MaxFunds.com co-founder and Fox News contributor, Jonas Max Ferris. Yes. So, Jonas, I do not buy KJP's response that no one who makes under $400,000 will be audited. All it takes is one black swan to disprove the universal all swans are white.
Yeah, first of all, it doesn't make any sense because you would go after where the tax fraud is and where people, if you file a tax return that says you only make $100,000, but you made up expenses of $300,000, you're not going to get audited, they're saying, even by all these new auditors. But if somebody makes $1 million with a W-2 paycheck and then does a bogus $20,000 charitable dog, you're going to go after that person? That doesn't make any sense. Like, you want to go after the most bang for the buck so taxpayers get the biggest return on this investment in the IRS. So claiming that there's some cutoff is absurd just on the level, because that's not how auditing happens. I mean, I'll add to that, it's very difficult to shake down really rich people because, first of all, they tend to do legal deductions. I know people don't want to hear this, but they work with lots of expensive tax lawyers who work around the Byzantine tax code that Congress stupidly created to legally get their taxes down to 10, 15. There's multiple presidents now, like Mitt Romney, Donald Trump, legally are paying very small percentages of their tax returns. A lot of lower income business owners just make up stuff or lie or make mistakes, and they tend to get caught up in that because those are lies and those are not working around a system that's flawed to start with from its complexity. So there's a lot of easy busts at the low end. They don't fight back with a team of attorneys anyway.
Yeah, and
so the reality is that's where the audits are going to happen.
That's why these high tax environments never work out, and they always have to walk them back. Just, look at France. But the point of this was not necessarily to turn the IRS into even more of a behemoth. It's supposed to reduce inflation. Does having 87,000 new IRS agents do anything to reduce inflation, Jonas?
Yeah, I'm not against fixing the money problems at the IRS, but it has nothing to do with inflation. In fact, hiring anybody is already inflationary. We're in a 3.5% unemployment rate situation where wages are spiraling out of control. This should have been done during the Obama administration when there was high unemployment and they were looking for projects to create employment. You don't wait for the lowest unemployment in decades and then go on a government FDR hiring spree. So that part of it is completely stupid. And also, again, if you're finding money abroad from these supposed rich people, that's not going to take years anyway. That's not current. Like, the current spending is going on by consumers. If you want to hit that, an inflation reduction plan would be a tax on those consumers, maybe a payroll tax increase to fix the bankrupt Social Security system. It's not going on audits of companies that are people that are offshoring money, maybe 3 years. Like, that's a good, noble cause to be done. Again, I would do it when we had high unemployment. But that's not an anti-inflation program. This program, as it now sits, is inflationary in the short run. You could argue any tax collections that would happen because of these new auditors would be disinflationary because you're sucking in money that wasn't getting taxed. But that's a long-term plan. It's got nothing to do with the current situation of high inflation.
All right, so let's talk about unemployment being historically low. What if it gets lower and inflation goes higher? What happens then?
Then we are going to need higher interest rates to punish the economy to reduce the inflation. We're at a point now where if we can't get the inflation measurably lower on a trajectory of dropping, then the Federal Reserve, who's the only person now who's doing anything to stop the inflation, because the government, and this is also states, Republican and Democrat, don't want to punch the consumer in the stomach. They want to give them handouts to counter the inflation. And that's going to make more inflation. So it requires the Federal Reserve to keep raising rates, which raises the cost of financing a car, getting a mortgage, whatever. That has to keep going up until prices come down to reality again. So any spending program, and a lot of this plan, besides the IRS part, is subsidizing purchases. If you give someone money to go buy something, that's inflationary. That's not disinflationary. Getting them to stop buying anything is disinflationary, whether it's by tax or, if you put a sales tax on cars, that's disinflationary. But you give them money to buy an electric car, then they need chips for that car in a market where those things don't exist.
Yes.
That's not disinflation. You're not slowing inflation.
No.
So, again, I'm not
like giving a
fundamentally
diabetic
against this
kid
program,
cake,
just not now.
instead of insulin. So the Fed, you know, it's like, believe me, I have problems with central banking. But the Fed is the only one with insulin right now. And you know, the White House and Congress like, here, fat kid with diabetes, here's more cake. And it's not going to end well. I've seen this episode of Matlock, and I used the box of Kleenex because it was so sad. Jonas Max Ferris, I love how you break it down. You cut right through, and that's why we go to you. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.